Grüezi, Hallo, Servus und G'day. Tolley here from a Tollescope. After the last episode, a couple of friends reminded me that I look a little red. My apologies. It is in fact the light. So I'm doing something about that, and I have on order a white ring light so that this channel can develop slowly and things get better and better. So light is on the way. In this episode, I'm going to be drawing what I call a segment of time to force your perspective to fit like a fisheye, looking down one length and then actually looking 180 degrees down the opposite direction, and then bringing those two vanishing points together in the one frame, in the one picture. And so I'll get into that and then catch up with you afterwards. Okay. And so, a long time ago, many years ago, when I was living in Richmond, Melbourne, Victoria, I was sitting at my local bar, the Great Britain Hotel, with a glass of wine, and I looked down to the left along the bar, looking at the entranceway there, sitting, drawing my glass of wine, and I decided that I'd try and get the whole bar in. So I looked down to the right, where the pictures were hanging, and the only way to do that, of course, is to distort the perspective, because you're not only drawing one point of view. In a drawing like this, you're drawing time, in fact. And so it's time passing, looking from the left to the right in a 180 degree movement, and including it all within the one drawing. So it is, in fact, almost 4-point perspective. In this drawing, I've kept the verticals quite vertical, so I guess it's a 3-point. The vertical lines don't change. I was just stretching it out there to fit the canvas. So I've left the verticals to be vertical, but if I was in fact looking up and down, then you would have a full 4-point perspective, disappearing above, disappearing below, and disappearing as vanishing points on the left and the right. So here I'm just filling that in, remaining true to the rather distorted perspective. I first did this technique on a film in storyboards, on a film called Cave, which was shot in Romania, where I lived for about 5 months the first time, on the first film. And there were cave divers, and the director wanted a shot where we're looking up the shaft of the cave at the cave divers abseiling down the shaft, passing the camera, and then continuing on below us, down into the shaft of the cave. And so it was a 4-point perspective shot, much like this, only vertically oriented. And I did it all as one drawing, and then simply drew cinema frame letterbox oblongs, frames, over that drawing. So it was one single drawing, just as this is, and containing these combined and so therefore distorted perspectives. Now this is all a bit rough and ready, very rudimentary sketches. I wouldn't call it concept art by any means, but and again, of course, for me, drawn from memory of a very long time ago. It had a central door which looked through the back into the band room. So it was the band bar on the inside and the public bar on the outside. Using very gestural, broad brushstrokes to mash everything together, but giving an indication of just how the bar looked, just like architecture here, having to do many repeats for bottles and blocking in shadows, getting a feel for mostly now the feeling of light and mood and reflection. And looking around the picture in terms of drawing technique, always zooming back out, zooming back in, always zoom back out and take a look at the whole drawing. Getting into some blacks there, tightening up certain areas, the wine glass. And more repetition of detail. When I started this drawing, I had a great idea of doing this distorted perspective drawing, thinking it would be something I could talk over while I was drawing, and I found that it clearly took way too long. It was over an hour, and I'm sure you don't want to hear me rambling on for over an hour, so I reduced it down in length by running it at 600% time, and nudging about with details now. Getting a sense of the wash of light from behind the bottles, the chandeliers, and the fridges, the bar fridges. And continuing on with details here. Let me know in the comments if you feel like you want to see something that's more finished, that takes longer. I try to keep these episodes on the channel around the 20-minute to half an hour mark. But if you'd like to see something captured or in real time, captured over a longer time, if this drawing goes too fast for you, let me know in the comments. Now it just gets to a bit of pottering away at details and almost finishing touches. Just trying to give it that mood. Highlights here and there. Always keeping in mind that distorted perspective. It's easy to fall out of that and start making marks that are in a normal perspective. You have to remind yourself to keep in that strange twist of line. That's just another reason to always be looking at the whole drawing and keeping a total overview on whatever it is that you're drawing. And now just sort of faffing about with details. I wanted to make the edges, well, I'll give you the surprise later at the end of this drawing. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do a drawing like this. Is to show, in actual fact, I began the surprise there, which I'll show you in just a moment. This type of drawing, because it's done over time, warrants and lends itself to a camera move, as I described in the cave storyboard frame I did. And so what I'm preparing this drawing for is to run a camera move over the top of it, which I will show you in just a moment's time, after we've finished off here with the highlights. It is in fact a technique that's used by animators as scenic painters to combine various different perspectives and points of view within one frame, so that then they can run a camera over it, just as I have done today. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, I really hope you do. Please leave comments. I'm Tolley. This is Tollescope. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Tschüss.